Hey everyone, Matt Dollinger here, NBA producer for SI.com, here with my good friend and college basketball producer, David Gardner. David, how's it going?
Going great. Thanks for having me, Matt.
You know, we were talking about the #1 pick in the 2014 NBA draft. Joel Embiid is kind of out of the conversation now with his foot injury. The focus has shifted to Andrew Wiggins versus Jabari Parker, where it kind of started before the season. Where do you think the Cavaliers are going to go with the first pick, Wiggins or Parker?
I think the Cavaliers kind of potentially dodged a bullet there with Joel Embiid because he was a high-risk player even before this foot injury, and now he's definitely very clearly a high-risk player. I think that they have to go with the safest pick in the draft, and that is Jabari Parker. This guy is a natural scorer. He's going to be a scorer in the NBA. He has clearly some things he needs to improve in his game. He doesn't play defense all the time. He's a little bit upright when he does play defense, when he gives his best effort, but I think that they need to go with someone who's going to produce, who's going to make them potentially a playoff team. And you look at what Jabari Parker did for Duke last year, that wasn't a particularly talented team, but he really carried them. So I think that they need to go with the guy. Maybe Wiggins has more upside, but they need to go with the guy who's going to be an impact player as a rookie right away. And where do you see them going?
We've seen Cleveland take a one-and-done guy from Duke before in Kyrie Irving, but I think the pick's Wiggins. I think Wiggins has the best combination of ceiling and production already. Embiid, like you said, was a huge risk. Parker is a sure thing, but Parker's a little redundant on Cleveland's roster. You know, they took Anthony Bennett #1 overall last year. I'm not going to say anything about that. It's just assumed. But, you know, Parker's a little redundant there. They're kind of tweeners, 3-4. If Anthony Bennett ever did pan out, you know, I don't think that him and Parker would be able to play alongside each other. Wiggins, on the other hand, is a perfect fit for Cleveland. You know, they started C.J. Miles and Alonzo Gee at small forward last year. That's not a good look. You know, Wiggins could potentially start right away and, you know, give them a real franchise building block to build around with Kyrie. Why are you against Wiggins going #1 overall?
I'm not against Wiggins going #1 overall. I'm certainly not one of those people who's a Wiggins hater, but when I look at Parker, I see a guy who's a little bit more versatile. You talked about Cleveland's needs. I think they have several across the court, and we saw Jabari Parker last year. He played 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Duke. He's an exceptional rebounder. He can help Cleveland keep possession of the ball a little bit longer. I think that Andrew Wiggins will also be a great NBA player. I don't think I saw him, though, dominate as much as I saw Jabari Parker dominate last year. They played against kind of equal competition. The ACC and the Big 12 were two of the toughest basketball conferences last year, and I really like what Jabari Parker did on the court. Andrew Wiggins, you're still drafting him a little bit for his upside. Jabari Parker, you're taking him because he's almost a complete project. His stroke is great. He can drive to the basket. He can get rebounds. I like all the things he's able to do for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
It's definitely a good problem to have for Cleveland. You know, if they're not able to lure LeBron James back to Ohio this summer, maybe they can get the second best thing in Wiggins or Parker.
Absolutely.
Dave, thanks so much for joining me. For SI.com, I'm Matt Dollinger.